Manas. Now the question is, why we have taken Ramayana? We know that Ramayana was basically written by Maharishi Valmiki, and originally it is authored by Valmiki, and Valmiki Ramayana is the most authoritative source of getting any information related to Ramayana. And when it comes to the documentation part, or like considering Ramayana as a part of history, so I just would like to state here that Valmiki Ramayana is primarily considered as a history document of history, not as an epic or a religious scripture. So Valmiki Ramayana, it is written by Maharishi Valmiki, and after that there are almost 300 versions of Ramayana. A few of them is like Ramavatram, that is Tamil Ramayana. It was written in 12th century by Maharishi Kambak. Then there is Ranganatham Ramayanam. It is written in Telugu in the 14th century. Then there are Ramayana Rimked in Cambodian Ramayana. Then we have Ramayana in Indonesia, Indonesian version, that is Kakawin Ramayana. Then Thai Ramayana is there, Ramaken Ramayana. Then there are Phara Lak Phara Lam, Laos, that is Laos, that version of Ramayana. Burmese version of Ramayana, Yama Jat Dao. And here in Assamese also Saptakanda Ramayana, that is Assamese Ramayana written in 14th to 15th century by Madhav Kandali. Then Bengali Ramayana is there, written in 15th century. But finally, why we have taken out of this almost 300 different versions of Ramayana, we have taken Ramcharit Manas, written by Goswami Tulsidas somewhere between 15th to 16th century. Now there is a reason behind that, and we'll come to that later on. Now when we have seen that there are different forms of Ramayana, different versions of Ramayana, that is almost 300 versions of Ramayana. Similarly, there are different concepts of Ram. Ram, as we know, is not only one thing. Ram, there are multiple concepts of Ram. Valmiki's Ram is the son of King Dasrath of Ajodhya. It's a documentation of history. That is Valmiki's Ram. Kabir Das, another saint, his Ram is not the son of King Dasrath of Ajodhya. Jo Kabira Kasi Mare Rame Kaun Nihora. When he uttered the word Ram, he is not meaning that son of King Dasrath of Ajodhya. He is referring Ram to the Almighty. Then Guru Nanak, he has also used the term Ram 2500 times in Guru Granth Sahib, and his Ram is not the same Ram as it is referred by Valmiki and Kabir Das. Then Gautam Buddha, he has also referred to Ram in the Jatak tales, and he himself declared that I myself was the Ram Pandit. Pandit means wise man. I myself was Ram. So Gautam Buddha, there is a different kind of Ram of Gautam Buddha also. Then for Jains, there is another kind of Ramayana. There is a Jain Ramayana, and interestingly, you know that this Jain religion is too much focusing or emphasizing on ahimsa principles, and in Jain Ramayana, Ram was ahimsak, and so in Jain Ramayana, Ram did not kill Ravana, rather it is the Lakshman who killed Ravan, because Ram was truly non-violent in Jain Ramayana. So in Jain Ramayana, Ram is described as the Salaka Purus, out of the 63 illustrious Salaka Purus which is described in the Jain religion. So there is a Jain Ramayana also, and Ram was basically Ahimsak Ram, and Lakshman actually killed Ravan in Jain Ramayana. And there is another Ramayana, Adbhut Ramayana, that was also written somewhere during this period of Valmiki, and it is written in Sanskrit as well. And here Sita killed the demon, not the Ram, not the Lakshman. It's Sita who killed the Ravan. There is a Ramayana in Urdu written by Chakvats. So there is a Ramayana in Urdu as well. Ram is a biblical figure. In Bible also there is a mention of Ram in Hebrew language. Now we have seen like in Urdu, in Bible, in Jain, in Gautam, in Buddhism, then in Ramayana itself, there are several versions, even in Sikhism. Everywhere there is a presence of Ram. So there is a line in Ramcharitmanas that Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta, that there are multiple types of Ramayana, multiple types of Ram, numerous types of Ram. So everybody's story is different. But one thing is clear, that Ramayana or the Ram has impact across the length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent in particular, and Asia and the world in general. So Ramayana has impact across the length and breadth of the world, we can say. So that's why we have chosen Ram and Ramayana. Now the question is, why Tulsidas Ramayana? Why Ramcharitmanas? Ramcharitmanas, it was written by Tulsidas. 1532 to 1623 it was the time of Tulsidas, and the first sloka, not sloka, that is the doha of Ramcharitmanas was the Bandav Gurupad Paduma Paraga Suruch Subhas Saras Anuraga. So this is the first line of Ramcharitmanas, and we have also started with this name only, Bandav Gurupad, means we are starting anything with the Guru Bandana. Now the question is, what is so special about Ramcharitmanas and what was so special about Tulsidas? So first thing is that Ramcharitmanas, the living sum of Indian culture. It is the living sum of Indian culture. How? We'll just get to know. It is the tallest tree in the magic garden of medieval Indian poetry, and the greatest book of all devotional literature, the best and the most trustworthy guide to the popular living faith of the Indian people. And Tulsidas had to face a lot of criticism from the Sanskrit scholars for being a Bhasa poet, Bhasa Kavi. Because prior to Tulsidas, especially in the northern India, all the religious scriptures, especially I am talking about this Hindu religious scriptures, be it Ved or the Gita or Upanishads or Puran, everything was in Sanskrit. So Tulsidas was the first one to translate that religious scripture from Sanskrit to a non-Sanskrit language, and actually this Ramcharitmanas is written in Awadhi. It's one form of dialect which is spoken here near about this Ajodhya and Faizabad region. Now Faizabad district is now converted as Ajodhya by Yogi Adityanath. So it is spoken in Ajodhya region. So it is a dialect spoken in that particular region, and it is called Awadhi, and it is a form of Hindi language only. So Tulsidas had to face a lot of criticism by the Sanskrit scholars, and in fact he was boycott by the Sanskrit scholars. And when someone have asked कि अब आप क्या करेंगे, because now the Sanskrit, all the learned scholars have boycott you, now what will you do? So what should I do? मांग के खाइबो और मस्जिद में सोइबो, मांग के खाऊंगा और मस्जिद में सो जाऊंगा, क्या करना क्या है? So Bindas Kavi, like Tulsidas was there. Okay. Now what was the scenario when Tulsidas started writing Ramcharitmanas? So at the king, it was the Akbar. You can imagine Akbar was the king at the who was sitting in the throne at Delhi. Then some religious poets were there, that Surdas was there, Kabir Das was there. In Bengal it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In South India also there are some other poets were there, which we have already mentioned, like Kambarishi was there in 12th century, and then numerous poets. So this period is known as the Bhakti Kal, the Bhakti Kal of Indian literature, because all the literary persons, whether whatever we have mentioned, basically the one significant feature was that all of them were the Bhakti. And what the West was doing, William Shakespeare was also contemporary of Tulsidas. So when on the throne of Delhi, it was Akbar, and this Bhakti movement was going on in Indian subcontinent. In the West, it was the William Shakespeare. So it's very important to understand what was the setting during that period when Tulsidas started writing Ramayana. So when this lot of Bhakti poets were there, it means that so much of the competition was there, not only from Indian subcontinent but from the West. the administration was not favorable to him, because administration was propagating a philosophy which was against his belief. So it was he was not getting any support from the rulers. He was not there was a lot of competition. If you just consider the strategic management and marketing here, there was a lot of competition in the West. William Shakespeare was there. And what was there in the Indian society? Indian society was divided between number of sects. Like Saiva was one important sect, Vaishnav was another sect, Shakt was another sect. So Saiva, Vaishnav and Shakt, these are the different sects prevailing in Indian society, and everybody was considering themselves better than the other ones, and nobody would like to talk to the other or mingle with the others. So this is how the Indian society was somehow divided during that time period. So this was the setting when Tulsidas arrives in the scenario. Now the question is, just Dr. Chaudhary has referred Ram as the Maryada Purushottam, but it is interesting to note that Maryada Purushottam, the concept of Maryada Purushottam was created by Tulsidas. There are almost 300 different versions of Ramayana, and prior to Tulsidas, Ram was not considered as Maryada Purushottam. So it was Tulsidas who had created the concept of Maryada Purushottam Ram, and this was the underlying assumption in Ramcharitmanas. If you talk about Valmiki Ramayana, as I told you, that it is just a documentation of the state of affairs, the way they had happened in that period. And ultimately, in the conclusion, Valmiki have written, if anyone have gone through the Valmiki Ramayana, they must admit that the Ram was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. It was declared by Valmiki in the last chapter, almost in the concluding para, that Ram has done so much of the things, so much of the activities which is not possible for a normal man to do. So definitely it is an indicative of the fact that Ram was actually he was the avatar of Lord Vishnu. But where Valmiki has concluded, it was the beginning for Tulsidas. Like we have, many of us are the researchers, and in exploratory research, what we do, we do not come to the conclusion. Normally, we propose certain hypotheses. So, whatever the hypothesis we are proposing, so that hypothesis can be a hypothesis, that is the proposed hypothesis, can be a hypothesis for some other researchers, and they can start their work based on, by considering the hypothesis proposed in some exploratory research. So here, where Valmiki has concluded that Ram, it was incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and that was the underlying assumption in Ramcharitmanas. From the very beginning, Tulsidas have assumed that Ram was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and he was Maryada Purushottam, and based on this assumption, the entire epic Ramcharitmanas Ramayana was written by Valmiki. Just for example, one example, how the Ram of Valmiki is different than that of Ram of Tulsidas. Ram of Valmiki is having all kind of human emotions. He has anger, he has greed, he has anxiety. But the Ram of Tulsidas, he is free from all these evils. Ram of Valmiki, he had never forgive Kaikeyi for what she did with Ram. It is reflected in many parts in Valmiki Ramayana. जैसे जब लक्ष्मण को शक्ति लगती है तो राम कहते हैं, it was in Sanskrit, I am just uttering the Hindi and English version, that Kaikeyi जो तुम चाहती थी तुमने करवा ही लिया. So actually he has not forgiven Kaikeyi because she has given him the exile. But the Ram of Tulsidas have never had any kind of anger or any kind of bad feeling for Kaikeyi. So this is the difference in the Ram of Valmiki and the Ram of Tulsidas. So the concept of Maryada Purushottam, so Ram was made Maryada Purushottam. This is just, please, those who do not know, please note that the Ram was made Maryada Purushottam not by Valmiki, but it was by Tulsidas, Goswami Tulsidas. Okay. When we talk about the religion, first thing is that I do not consider Ramayana as a religious book. Rather, it is a book on some sociology, or it is a book. Some of the books are like on philosophy and other things. So, in India, especially, there are almost hundreds and thousands of books, including Vedas. Then there are Purans, then Upanishads. There are hundreds and thousands of books, which is considered as a religious book. Out of all these books, these are the only two books which has got the privilege to be worshipped. Especially I am talking about this North India, and the same is true in other places also. Like भागवत गीता अगर हम लोग सिनेमा में देखें तो कोई नहीं बोलता मैं वेदों की कसम खा के कहता हूँ कि जो भी कहूंगा, सच के सिवा कुछ नहीं कहूंगा. Why? Because it is the Bhagavad Gita which is considered as the most sacred book, and it is the book which has to be worshipped. And it is the Bhagavad Gita. जब किसी कोई आदमी मरने वाला होता है या कुछ मुक्ति पाने के लिए होता है तो उसको भगवत गीता का पाठ सुनाया जाता है, उसको वेद नहीं सुनाया जाता, उसको भगवत गीता सुनाया जाता है. और देयर इज अ चैंटिंग ऑफ रामचरितमानस written by Goswami Tulsidas. So these are the two books which are most important. Now, what is the similarity between these two books? Bhagavad Gita was written somewhere around 5,000 years back, whereas Ramcharitmanas, Ramayana, was written in 15th century or 16th century, 500 years back. So, one book was written just 500 years back, another book was written 5,000 years back. Now, where is the similarity? So, there are certain things, certain slokas in Bhagavad Gita which are directly translated into Hindi in Ramcharitmanas, and I'm just quoting a few. The most important sloka, or the most known sloka of Bhagavad Gita, it is known to each one of you, and recently Mahabharata was telecasted on Ramayana, and where each one of us have seen or listened to it, that यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारतः अभ्युत्थानं धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. So the meaning is, I think, more or less clear to each one of you that whenever there will be धर्म की हानि and धर्म का उद्धार करने के लिए और अधर्मियों का नाश करने के लिए, then the God will keep on coming. The God will keep take avatara in every yuge. Now, exactly the same lines were translated, and it is incorporated in Ramcharitmanas. It is in Hindi. जब जब हुई है धर्म की हानि, बाढ़हि असुर अधम अभिमानी, तब तब प्रभु धरि मनुज शरीरा, हरहि कृपा निधि सज्जन पीरा. Okay. Now the question is, why the translation of Gita, and what Tulsidas wanted to, what message he wanted to convey? Why? And this is not only like in Gita there is another sloka that karma nivadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana, and it is directly translated into Hindi by Goswami Tulsidas. Karma pradhan vishwa kari rakha, jo jas karahi tas phal chakha. Maybe one answer is that it was opposite to the faith propagated by the erstwhile rulers. At the beginning I told you who was the ruler at that time and what was their faith. There was a class who was ruling, who was on the throne, and who was propagating a belief that someone came in 536 AD and he is the one and the only messenger, he is the last messenger of God, and after that no one has arrived and nobody will come. This is the faith propagated by the erstwhile rulers, and contrary to that, he was trying to propagate a faith that whenever there is a need, whenever there will be trouble, whenever there will be problem, there will be solution given by God in different forms or the others. So it was a challenge to the authority of Akbar at that time, and why he had challenged Akbar, I will come to that later on. And another challenge was that the concept of time, because we in the entire world we have two types of belief: Abrahamic belief and the Indian belief. In the concept of time in Abrahamic belief is different, and in Indian belief the concept of time is different. In Abrahamic faith system, we assume time as the linear entity, that whatever has gone, it's gone forever, it will not come back to you. And in Indian faith, when we do believe in the Siddhant of karma, the time is cyclical. Whatever you have done, it will come back to you once again. It will come back to you, and it will keep coming. Whatever you do, it will keep coming in front of you time and again. So the concept of time is cyclical in our belief system, and that actually might be Baba Tulsidas was trying to propagate, and he was trying to disseminate this information to the large mass at that time, who was actually forced to believe in one concept of time which is contrary to the belief of this land. Then Tulsi's nationalism, and why I told just now that I will come back to later why this he was opposed to the Akbar. Akbar, the erstwhile ruler, he actually invited Tulsidas to come to his kingdom and become one of his Navratna. We have been taught in the history that there was a concept of Navratna of Akbar, and Akbar have given the invitation to Tulsidas also. Why don't you come and join my assembly, and you become the Rajya Kavi? And Tulsidas have refused. And what he said, he has written just one doha: Santan ko kahan sikari so kam. Santan Sikari was Fatehpur Sikri was the capital of Akbar at that time. So Santan ko kahan Sikari so kam. Santan ko Sikari se kya kaam hai? Fatehpur Sikri se. So मुझे Fatehpur Sikri नहीं जाना. And he has refused politely. And after that there is another drama that will take another 1 hour if I start narrating. But only thing is that the crux is that there was a tussle between Akbar and Tulsidas. And another thing, whenever Tulsidas, he used to address the gathering and वो राम कथा जब सुनाते थे, so when he used to complete his Ram Katha, then he asked all the people who were assembled over in a particular place कि बोलो राजा रामचंद्र की जय. Now when he was asking the people to chant Raja Ramchandra ki jai, it means he was trying to convey the message to the masses and to the ruler both that you are not my king. The king is someone else. And those who understand international politics and those who understand politics or this diplomacy, they understand कि सारा खेल recognition का ही है कि अगर आप मुझे राजा मानते हो कि नहीं मानते हो. And that is the entire story. And he started propagating this belief that the person who is sitting on the throne in Delhi, in Lal Killa or Fatehpur Sikri is not our king. Our king is someone different. So we will not accept his slavery. So that was somehow Tulsi's nationalism also is reflected through Ramcharitmanas. Then I told you at the beginning that what was the situation in Indian society, that society was divided into several castes, several sects, Saiv, Vaishnav, Shakt, and Tulsi Das has tried to bring synchronization or unification in the society through this Ramcharitmanas, and Ramcharitmanas becomes so popular among the masses that it has dissolved all kind, and it has demolished all kind of the walls which was there in the Indian society in the name of this Saiv, Vaishnav and Shakt. Like we have seen that when Ram was about to attack Lanka, then he worshipped Shiva, Lord Shiva. And who is Ishtadeva of Shiva? It is Ram. This concept is also given by Tulsidas. It is not written in Vedas or Gita or anywhere else. That Ram's Ishtadeva is Lord Shiva and Shiva is worshipping Ram. So it is written that Shiva Drohi Mam Das Kahava So Nar Mohi Sapne Ho Nahi Bhava. Okay? Or Sankar Priya Mam Drohi Shiva Drohi Mam Das Te Nar Karahi Kalap Dhari Ghor Narak Mahubas. The person who is having a rivalry with Shiva and he is trying to become my Das, my Bhakta, I will not like that kind of person. Means there is a unification between Saiv and Vaishnav, and this has what miraculous. This has done miraculous, and its impact was miraculous in Indian society in bringing unification in the Indian society. Just today, this discussion is more important. How this crisis management is also reflected in Ramayana, Ramcharitmanas of Tulsidas. In 1984, 31st of October, Mrs. Gandhi, the erstwhile Prime Minister of India, was shot dead. And when Mrs. Gandhi was shot dead, so if the Prime Minister is not there, automatically the charge goes to the President of India, because if during that period, if some foreign entity or foreign nation attacks on India, so the onus of taking decision will lies with the President. And if President is also not there, then the Chief Justice of Supreme Court somehow will be he can take the charge. But on 31st of October, President Gyani Jail Singh, he was in Oman. Mrs. Gandhi is shot dead, and some other like the Chief Justice of India and the Deputy Vice President, they were also not in Delhi. And when this message went to Rajiv Gandhi that your mother, that is the Prime Minister of India, Madam Prime Minister, has shot dead, then it was the Pranab Mukherjee who has immediately gave a call to the Delhi office that don't declare the death of Mrs. Gandhi, because this is a crisis situation. If the Mrs. Gandhi's death is declared, then it means that the crown of India, the throne of India, is empty for that time period. And if any foreign nation attacks at that time, then there will not be any person to take decision on behalf of the country. And immediately Pranab Mukherjee have made a call to the Delhi, and he has requested the office bearers or the person who were in the helm of affairs at that time not to declare the death of Mrs. Gandhi. And a similar crisis situation had also happened in Ramayana when Maharaj Dasarath died. Then he has 4 sons. Rama and Lakshman were in exile. Bharat and Shatrughan were with his maternal uncle's place. So technically, the throne of Ajodhya, the empire, the crown of Ajodhya, it was empty for that particular moment. And Guru Vasishtha has written a letter to Bharat and Shatrughan to come back immediately. Tel naav bhari nripatanu rakha, doot bolai bahuri as bhaka, धावा ही बेग भरत पहि जाहूं, नृप सुधि कतहु कहाँ ही जनि काहू. तेल नाव भरि नृप तनु राखा, मतलब in tail, in oil, the dead body of Nrip means the king, was kept, and Dut bolai, Dut means messenger. He called the messenger and asked him to go and call immediately Bharat, and don't tell anyone what had happened to the king. Don't tell anyone that king is no more. This is how the entire crisis situation was being managed in Ramcharitmanas, and exactly almost in the same way the crisis situation was managed in 1984, 31st of October in Delhi, Lutyens too. Exactly. So just see what kind of visionary thing was there, like in 500 years back. Because he could also visualize the similar thing, that the pros and cons and the implications what it would have if it is declared to the whole world that Dasarath is no more. Dhirubhai Ambani actually once in one of the interview he has stated that he had got the crux of industrial relation from Ramayana. And what was that? Those who understand strategic management and those who understand business, they might appreciate the fact that there was no strike in Reliance during the time of Dhirubhai Ambani. Now also there is no strike, there is no problem. And because there is a book written by I just forgot the name. The name of the book is Dhirubhaism. And it is written by the founder of Mica Institute of Communication, Mudra Institute of Communication. So he has actually narrated this entire story that every worker in Reliance Industries, that Jamnagar, whether it's a Jamnagar refinery or Bimal Fabrics or any other factory, they believe that Dhirubhai is their own family member, because Dhirubhai knows each and every worker of his industry by name and face. So this was the charisma of Dhirubhai, and the sloka from which Dhirubhai had got inspiration was, it is written in English, nahi ko kapiyas sena mahi, राम कुशल जहीं पूछा ही नहीं. ऐसा एक भी बंदर राम की सेना में नहीं था. कपि मीन्स बंदर, राम जिसको बाय नेम एंड फेस नहीं पहचानते थे. And it was the belief that all these kapis or the small soldiers have bestowed upon Ram, that they are now ready to fight with the mighty kingdom Ravana. So that was the belief in Ram, and that's why that's how they have prepared themselves for that. Now, in strategic management, those who have studied strategic management, so in the very first chapter, we have been taught about the mission and vision of an organization. And in the mission and vision of an organization, it is taught to us, the core is that the growth of an organization is directly proportional to the vision of the leader. This is what is written in the strategic management. I'm just giving the crux of this mission and vision, that growth of an organization is directly proportional to the vision of the leader. If the leader is full of vision, the organization will be prospering accordingly. If there is a problem with the leader, accordingly the organization will die. And we have seen there are many cases which will be testimony of this statement. So this is told by the strategic management experts. And exactly the same thing is also stated by Goswami Tulsidas in Ramcharitmanas. And what is that? In one line, just दूल्हा होता स बनी बाराता. जैसा दूल्हा होता है वैसी बारात बन जाती है. दूल्हा is here is symbolic of leader. जैसा दूल्हा वैसी बारात बन गई. Just दूल्हा होता स बनी बाराता. And actually it is written in the context of the शिव विवाह. शिव जी जब शादी करने जाते हैं, so जैसे शिव जी थे अड़भंगी, फुल ऑफ लाइक कभी सांप लटका हुआ है, कुछ जटाएं बनी हुई, सो ऐसे ही उनकी बाराती भी है, जस दूल्हा होता से बनी बाराता. So this is how this strategic management was also addressed in Ramcharitmanas. This is also adaptivism. Now at the very beginning I told you that there was a huge competition. If you just consider it from the perspective of strategic management and marketing, then there was a huge competition for Tulsidas कि कैसे लें. There was competition, like someone was saying that we should worship Sakar Brahma, someone was saying that we should worship Nirakar Brahma, someone was saying that we should worshipping something else. So Sakar, Nirakar and so and so forth, there was a contradiction. And what Tulsidas have adopted, that forget about Sakar, forget about idol worshipping, forget about non-idol worshipping. He has given a different, he has taken a niche market. And what was that? कि नाम, राम का नाम लीजिए, ना साकार ब्रह्म और निराकार ब्रह्म दोनों छोड़ दो. You just keep on chanting the राम का नाम, राम से बड़ा राम का नाम. And what was he has written is Agun Sagun. Agun means idol worship, this non-idol, without any idol worshipping. Sagun means idol worshipping. So Aguna Saguna doi Brahma Sarupa, Akath Agad Anadi Anupa. दोनों ही बहुत अगाध है, अनूप है, ठीक है. बट मोरे मत बड़ नाम दूते, मेरे हिसाब से नाम जो दोनों से बड़ा है. किए जही जुग निज बस निज बूते. इसके दोनों किए जुग जग निज बस निज, पूरा दोनों जुग जो है अपने बूते में कर लेते हैं नाम से. सो सगुण ब्रह्म और निर्गुण ब्रह्म, इन दोनों के बीच से तुलसी ने बीच का रास्ता निकाला कि नाम लो, राम का नाम. दिस इज हाउ ही हैज मार्केटेड हिज कॉन्सेप्ट. निर्गुण ते भाति बड़ नाम प्रभाव अपार, कहूँ नाम बड़ राम ते निज विचार अनुसार. सो नाम इज above all, नाम की महिमा. And probably he has also asked the masses of that time period to just go for the chanting of Ram Naam, because might be we have just seen that मूर्ति पूजा करने के लिए मूर्ति तो होनी चाहिए. अब जब मूर्ति नहीं है तो ठीक है, हम लोग क्या करेंगे, नहीं करेंगे. So don't stop practicing your religion. So if you do not have temples, if you do not have idols, then just keep on chanting the Ram Naam, and that's how also you can achieve the Almighty. We are talking about the environment, so much of the discussion about the environment, and a few dohas about the environment was also given in Ramcharitmanas. Ravi tap jitani kaj. Ravi means सूरज, और जितना जरूरत होती थी उतने हिसाब से सूरज जो है तपता था. एंड मांगे बारिद दे ही जल रामचंद्र के राज. बारिद मतलब जितनी जरूरत होती थी उतना ही बादल जो उतना पानी दे देता था रामचंद्र के राज. This is how the excellent illustration of environment, the ideal environment is being presented by Baba Tulsidas. Maybe someday, somehow, sometimes, maybe later we could achieve that level that बादल जितना जरूरत उतना पानी देगा और सन जितनी जरूरत होगी उतना टेम्परेचर देगा. Maybe we will achieve that maybe in the days to come. Now, how the social inclusion, as I told you that society was divided into several sects. So Saiva, Vaishnava and Sakta. So this is how one part was there. And this, how the society is included. So this, there are certain things which are unique in the Tulsidas Ramayana, which is not there in Valmiki Ramayana. What is that? That Ram coming out of Ajodhya and meeting Nisadras, and then meeting Sabari, and Jatayu. पक्षी भी, the bird he has chosen like the bird which is boycotted by everyone. हम लोग कोई अपने घर में इसको गिद्ध को आने नहीं देंगे, अपने गांव में भी नहीं घुसने देते हैं. पक्षी भी उसको लिया जिसको, जो सबसे तरह से बहिष्कृत पक्षी है, उसको लिया. And all these three creatures, three entities are considered by Tulsidas exclusively. It is not there in Valmiki Ramayana. Please go and read it. Nisadras, the concept of Nisad or Sabari and Jatayu, all these three were not there in Valmiki Ramayana. It was there in Tulsidas Ramayana. And Tulsidas, Ram जो है अपने पिता को मुखाग्नि नहीं देते हैं, लेकिन जटायु को मुखाग्नि देते हैं. This is how he has tried to bring inclusion in the society. He has tried to include everybody in the society, those who have excluded, those who have deprived. And when Ram came out of Ajodhya, he has not made any king after that. He met all those people who were deprived, who were bahiskrit, who were excluded from the society. राम अगर अयोध्या से निकले होंगे जस्ट टू तो वहां से निकले होंगे तो आसपास के कितने लोगों को लगा होगा ना, राम ही वाज द किंग ऑफ एंटायर इंडिया. So there might be some influential people who might have tried, and don't you think that there might be some influential people who might try to influence Ram? Then why don't you come to my palace and stay here for 14 years? Need not to go back to Ajodhya. Stay here comfortably and then go back. But Ram, it was not there. He came out of Ajodhya, and after that he never met a single person who was very influential. He met everyone who were deprived, excluded, bahiskrit. And thus he is trying to bring social inclusion. When he have to choose a friend, then he stand with the deprived. He has not stand with the Almighty. When he had to choose between Bali and Sugriv, because for Ram, Bali and Sugriv both were equal entities, because दोनों उनके लिए unknown थे. And if Ram would have chosen Bali, the friendship with Bali, it would have been easier for him. कि ठीक है Bali, because Bali have already defeated Ravan in early part of his life, but he had chosen not Bali but Sugriva. Okay. And ultimately he has killed Bali, and Bali on the deathbed he has asked, मैं बैरी सुग्रीव ही प्यारा, अवगुण कवन नाथ मोहि मारा. मैं बैरी हो गया, मैं दुश्मन हो गया, सुग्रीव आपका प्यारा हो गया, मेरी गलती क्या थी कि मुझे मारा? एंड राम ने बोला कि तुम्हारी गलती यही थी कि अपने भाई की भार्या को तुमने जबरदस्ती किडनैप कर लिया था, and that's why I am here to punish you. And then Bali again asked, okay, even if I did some mistake, but who are you to punish me? मैं जो भी करूं, but who are you to punish me? And Ram's reply was, being a king of this land, it was my duty. Now here the national integration. Now just see where this Ajodhya is. Ajodhya is somewhere here Uttar Pradesh, and Bali is somewhere here in the southern part of India. And when he is saying that being a king of this land, it was my duty, it means that it was not the Chandragupta who was trying to make Akhand Bharat, it was not the Akbar who was trying to make a single Hindustan, it was not the Britishers who have united India as one country, but prior to that India was an entity, a single entity, and it was a nation. There is a difference between the nation and the country. Nation is psychological, it's emotions. So the entire land between Hindu Kush Parvat in Afghanistan to Hind Mahasagar, that becomes Hindustan, and psychologically and emotionally we were under one, we were one country. So this is how this national integration was also portrayed in Tulsidas Ramayana. Now the final is like many of the students are here, and what is their take home? So the take home for my dear students, when I think I read this Chaupai many times, and I think in every month, some day or the other, I used to read to this Chaupai, and it is very much close to my heart. And I'm just trying to recite it. रावण रथी बिरथ रघुबीरा देख विभीषण भयउ अधीरा. रावण रथ पर है, रघुबीर राम जो है बिरथ बिना रथ के हैं, जमीन पर है, पैदल है, और उसको देख करके विभीषण जो है अधीर हो गया. देख विभीषण भयउ अधीरा. अधिक प्रीति मन भा संदेहा. इतना प्यार था कि उसको मन में संदेह हो गया. बंदी चरण कह सहित सनेहा. भगवान की चरण वंदना करके प्यार से पूछा. क्या पूछा उसने? नाथ न रथ नहीं तन पद त्राना. ना आपके पास रथ है, न तन पर कोई कपड़ा है, न चप्पल है. केहि विधि जीतब वीर बलवाना. कैसे आप जीतेंगे इस युद्ध को? तो राम ने क्या कहा? सुनौ सखा कह कृपा निधाना. सुनो विभीषण, क्या जेहि जय हो सो स्वयंदन आना. मैं तुम्हें बता रहा हूं कैसे जीत होगी. सौरज धीरज तेहि रथ चाका. सौरज मीन्स शौर्य, गैलेंटरी. धीरज means patience. So bravery and patience are the two wheels of a rath. सत्य शील दृढ़ ध्वजा पताका. सत्य और शील जो है उस रथ की पताका है. बल विवेक दम परहित घोड़े. बल विवेक, दम means power, परहित means good to the others. These are the four horses of that chariot. क्षमा कृपा समता रजु जोड़े. क्षमा और कृपा समता रजु, ये चार जो है उसको जोड़े हुए हैं, मतलब रस्सी है जो घोड़े को रथ को पकड़े हुए हैं. ईस भजन सारथी सुजाना. भगवान का भजन जो है सारथी है. बिरत चर्म संतोष कृपाना. पेशेंस एंड संतोष जो है वो उसका कृपाण है. दान परसु बुद्धि शक्ति प्रचंडा. बर विज्ञान कठिन को दंडा. दान परसु बुद्धि शक्ति प्रचंडा. दान परसु बुद्धि शक्ति, ये जो उसको जो रथ को खींचने के लिए जो जरूरी है. बर विज्ञान कठिन को दंडा. विज्ञान जो उसका डंडा है चलाने के लिए. अमल अचल मन त्रोण समाना. सम जम नियम शील मुख नाना. ये सारे चीजों को जो है नियम से जो मानेगा. कवच अभेद विप्र गुरु पूजा. विप्र और गुरु का जो आशीर्वाद है, दैट इज आवर कवच. यही समय विजय उपाय न दूजा. इससे बड़ा कोई उपाय नहीं विजय का. सखा धर्ममय असरथ जाके जीतन कह न कतहु रिपुता के. अगर ये सारी चीजें किसी के पास हैं तो कैसे कोई नहीं जीतेगा. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दिस इज योर टेक होम. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू रीड इट वंस अगेन. सौरज धीरज तेहि रथ चाका. सत्य शील दृढ़ ध्वजा पताका. बल विवेक दम परहित घोरे. क्षमा कृपा समता रज जोड़े. इस भजन सारथी सुजाना. बिरथ चर्म संतोष कृपाना. दान परस बुद्धि शक्ति प्रचंडा. बर विज्ञान कठिन को दंडा. अमल अचल मन त्रोण समाना. सम जम नियम शील मुख नाना. कवच अभेद विप्र गुरु पूजा. यही समय विजय उपाय न दूजा. सखा धर्ममय रस असरथ जाके जीतन कह न कतहु रिपुताके. So its English translation is given here. I will just leave it. I will mail it to all of you. I will mail it to the organizers. They will just mail it back to you. So this is its English translation. I have already explained it while reciting that stanza. So now the conclusion. There is a book written by Tulsidas itself, Yoga Vasisht, and here you can see the Vasisht was on the gaddi, on the chair, and the Ram was sitting, and he was actually asking certain questions to Vasisht Muni. You know that Vasisht was the teacher, the professor of Ram, who taught him, and Ram was his research scholar, and Ram is asking some questions and Vasisht was giving answers. Okay. Now what were the questions? It is given in Yoga Vasisht. So the questions were like the same as being asked by Arjun in Gita to Krishna. Like what is Satya, what is Chama, what is Asatya, what is Dharma, what is Adharma, what is Atma, what is Paramatma, what is our deity, what should we do, what is Dharma Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. All these questions are asked by Ram to his professor Muni Vasisht, Professor Vasisht. in Gita, the same questions were asked by Arjun to Krishna. Now, see the difference in the context. Here, if you just consider Ram and Krishna as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, so here Bhagavan is asking question and Bhakt is replying. And here, Bhakt is asking question and Bhagavan is replying. And this is how there is a change in the context, and might be this was an experiment which Tulsidas wanted to do, that if the same questions which were asked by Arjuna and the answers given by Krishna, if it is the reverse is done, that Rama is asking question and Vasishtha is answering, will it be same or there will be some difference? So as being a researcher, we used to write a scope of future research, maybe where Bhagavad Gita has left from where Tulsidas have started, and the situations, the circumstances during this Mahabharata when this Gita was written was different, and the situations and circumstances when this Ramayana and the Yoga Vasishtha and when Tulsidas was there, it was different. And that's why, again, to conclude, that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanatharya sambhavami yuge yuge. That whenever there will be new problems, there will be new solutions, and in every yuga, in every time, the problems were different, and hence the problems were different, so the solutions to those problems will also be different, were also different, and every time there will be new solutions, and the God or the environment or the nature will come with a new solution all the time. And this is the crux of Ramayana, the crux of Goswami Tulsidas. Means there cannot be any conclusion, there cannot be any end, that this is the final version of the truth. The truth, it keeps on changing. The truth was something different during Gita, the truth was something different during the period of Tulsidas, and now it is something different, and maybe 200 years, 300 years or 400 years down the line, the truth will be different. And this is the crux of the entire Bhagavad Gita and the Ramcharitmanas. Thank you for the patience hearing.